Hey everyone, welcome to Jason Explains Things. One of the most impressive overlanding setups I've ever seen in action is this Ram 2500 with a flatbed and four-wheel camper. This beast is owned by my buddy Nate, and today he's going to give us a detailed walk around of the truck, all of the modifications he's done to it, as well as the incredible camper setup in the rear, including some very cool custom touches. You might have seen this truck in action in the past, kind of in the background of my adventure videos, but today it's front and center. Let's go.
So today we're going to talk about my 2020 Ram 2500 with a 6.7 liter diesel engine, and it's a Laramie package. That's what the truck started its life out as, and then I went and modified the heck out of it. So let's go do that. This is a completely bone stock truck I bought in 2020, brand new actually, and I flew to Illinois to pick it up because it was very limited of what you can find in the country.
Yeah.
And this one actually had probably the best price with all the options I wanted and the color I wanted. So not too long after I bought the truck, I started modifying the truck. For one, I had wheels left over from my previous truck that actually went onto this truck, but to fit those wheels on there in the 37s, I had to put a suspension on it. That was one of the first modifications I did. I put a 3-inch lift from AEV on this truck, and then some 37 by 12.5-inch tires on those Catlow wheels that I had laying around.
Let's take a close look at this AEV bumper, man.
Yep, so after I lifted the truck and I got those big tires on it, next was actually to add some more armor to the vehicle, so this way I can drive it off-road and across country and not hit any elk, which I've seen a few of them when I was driving through Montana.
Yeah.
So I picked up this AEV bumper. I actually had the low tube option on it at first, and then I optioned it with all these AEV lights and a Warren 16.5 winch on the front. All this installation was done in my shop. Later, AEV offered the bumper with the brush guard. I picked this up later, about like a year or two after I had the bumper attached, and then I retrofitted this on it. That was kind of the cool thing about this AEV bumper was it's kind of modular. So this way you can kind of pick and choose what you want. Or if you have an accident where you damage one side, you can just remove that one corner and replace that part. Or if you damage the brush guard, you can just replace that brush guard.
Has the bumper ever been used to defend the truck from animals?
Luckily, no. Just some little scrapes down below. That was about it. After we had the big brush guard on there, we had to transfer those lights over. These are 4 AEV 7000 series lights. Each one of these produces 9,900 raw lumens and 8,000 effective lumens.
Yep. I
have stone guards on the outside of them. The inner two ones, I replaced the lenses with some yellow lenses that AEV later offered. So this way, when you have that fog or snowy conditions, it kind of cuts through the snow and the fog a little bit better, or makes it easier for your eyes to see, either way.
So looking at the snorkel and the running boards, are at least the running boards stock?
No. So the truck didn't come with the running boards. It was kind of a pain in the ass to jump up inside the truck, especially after I lifted it. And it was one of those obligations for my wife saying that if you're going to lift the truck, you need to have running boards. These are some Mopar running boards I picked up. Has the same black texture paint as AEV bumpers on it, so it kind of blends into it very well.
Sure.
I then later installed the snorkel. This was one of those things that AEV released when I had the truck, and I wanted to have it on it because, well, we live in the Pacific Northwest and it's really dusty. Cutting a hole inside this vehicle, just like many other ones I did, this is not too hard.
So Nate, before we move on to the flatbed and the camper, I wanted to ask, what were some of your intended, use cases that you wanted for the camper before you started building it? Like, where did you want to take it? What kind of off-roading did you want to do?
Oh, that's
to kind of intend, like why you chose certain parts.
That's a really in-depth question. So initially when I bought this truck, I didn't actually plan on having a camper in the back of it. About a year later after owning it, I decided that I want a camper in the back of it. And picking campers is, well, pretty broad spectrum of different campers you have out there.
Yeah.
Now the 4-wheel camper is what I chose because it's an off-road camper. It has full welded construction. And then I kind of had to choose which one I wanted inside of that. And I chose a flatbed model because I had the most space.
Cool. What kind of fuel mileage did you get before you started doing stuff to it?
So the truck, empty, driving without a trailer, probably got about 16, 17 miles per gallon.
Not bad.
That's not too bad for these diesel trucks.
No.
Now, some people say they get better fuel mileage than that. Well, we live in the Pacific Northwest. I feels like I'm always going up and down a hill.
Yeah.
And we're always driving like 70 miles an hour, if not faster, depending on the state. Now with the camper, that's, well, really dramatically affected that fuel mileage.
Gotcha.
So now with it popped down, of course, when you're driving down the highway, I get roughly between 12.5 to 14 miles per gallon as a setup.
So like a 3 mile per gallon drop?
Yeah, if not, probably a little bit more.
Okay.
Now, more often I see 12.5 miles per gallon versus a 14 miles per gallon. Well, that's because, like, once again, we're living in the Pacific Northwest and we're driving across the interstates doing 80 miles an hour. Probably get about 280 miles a range on the highway. Okay. And then I don't get really that worse a range off-road.
Interesting.
That's kind of the interesting thing. When you're driving that like 30 to 35 miles per hour off-road with this big heavy truck and this diesel engine, it kind of seems like you get kind of the same fuel mileage. So Nate, tell us about this awesome flatbed you got. So this flatbed is from Mitts Alloy. Okay. This is an Australian company that was brought into the country from Mule Expedition. And
right, and that's where you got it, right?
Yep, they did the install there. I probably could have done it myself, but I felt more comfortable with them doing it on many trucks, that I let them do it to this truck because I had a bunch of park sensors and tail lights that I needed to have rewired into these tail lights and have the park sensors moved. Gotcha. I kind of left it up to them. And what did you do with the bed? Did they sell it for you? What happened with that? They have either option where you can leave it with them and they give you, I think, a $500 credit or a $700 credit. I decided to take it, so when I had the bed done, I had my old bed put on top of it, and I brought it home and I sold it for about $2,000 on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, one of the two. Nice. Any cool, beyond, you said that the parking sensors and everything work, are there any other cool features to the flatbed? Well, the big thing about having the flatbed is so you can have the flatbed four-wheel camper. Right. But the other cool thing about the flatbed, it gives you a lot more storage. So you have 4 storage boxes all the way around, and that's kind of nice for having all those random camper items you need, like storing your ladder, storing your hoses. Does that recovery point need to be that big? So this is from the rigging industry. It looks like it is. This is a 17-ton anchor shackle that's 1.5 inches diameter. I think it's kind of more of a joke because the hitch pin is what, 5/8. Yeah, I mean this is a functional version of truck nuts. I would say. Yeah, it's kind of my version of it. Plus, like having this here, it makes nice little steps for my foot to kind of climb up the camper if I didn't use my ladder to hit the latches to open it up. Okay. So, and we've got a cool rack back here. Yep, this is an option from 4-wheel camper. This you can buy with your camper. I decided to get it without anything on it. Later, I ended up putting the max tracks on it. Other thing I was worried about was propane. So this came with 2 10-pound propane tanks. At first, I was worried that I was going to burn through those pretty quickly and that would short my time when I'm off-road. Come to find out later that each one of these 10-pound propane tanks, I could usually get about a week out of between running the heater and running the stove for cooking food. Wow, okay. Even the hot water heaters, off of propane. Yeah. So having a week on each one of these tanks, technically I have 3 weeks propane on me. While we're talking about the camper, let's take a tour. So this model is a Hawk from 4-wheel camper. They have different models like a Hawk Plus and a Granby. The Hawk is based off a 6.5-foot bed truck. That's what this originally was. Okay. The Hawk Plus is 12 inches longer. And the Granby is actually a little bit longer than that. That one's for an 8-foot bed truck. You would need to have a bigger truck, well, a longer truck for that Granby model. The Hawk Plus is kind of a weird one. You might want to have a little bit longer flatbed. This is just 7-foot, where that one you might want to have a 7.5-foot flatbed. Gotcha. So it doesn't hang off the back too much. But when you go inside, you'll see actually this is actually quite large. Before we do that, talk about this awning. Is that just included or was that an extra accessory? This is one of those extras that you have to pay for. You get this off 4-wheel camper. I think this is about a $1,500 option. I have to take a look at it. Now you may ask why I got this versus a 270 awning. Sure. And the big reason is, well, with a 270 awning, you got to fold it back up. Right. And I can't reach it. And if I were to... It's pretty high up there. It is. And if I had to swing this thing around and kind of close it, you'd be moving your ladder every what, several feet to be able to pack it away. And sure, I mean, also just with wind and everything, this, you deployed this very quickly and putting it away wouldn't be that hard either. Not very hard at all. Yeah. Awesome. Well, let's look inside. Yeah, let's do that.
I did it.
Yeah, you made it inside.
I did.
So that's a little bit of a tricky ladder.
Yeah.
So that ladder is actually used for rooftop tents from AluCab.
Yeah, it looked kind of familiar.
Yeah, and the big thing is I wanted a ladder so I didn't have this giant cording stairs. That's what most people use for a flatbed.
Oh, okay.
And that's a lot easier when you're trying to get a dog inside in and out of your camper.
Yeah, I've got footage of you like lifting your dog and Margaret into here.
So perfect. That's perfect B-roll. But the other thing I was worried about is like, what if I need to get to the top of the camper and clean off solar panels or check solar panels? This way I can actually extend it very high. And also helps me get to the backlashes of the camper. So we'll work our way around. This actually has a queen size mattress up here.
Cool.
I ended up upgrading the mattress to a Hess mattress.
Okay.
Over the factory four-wheel camper mattress. Way better from now. So
you got some storage under there?
Yep. So this is a big benefit for the flatbeds. And now recently they made the slide-ins have this giant underbed storage. This is kind of like your whole closet. I store all my clothes here, my pillows in the center, my wife stores her clothes here. Yeah,
unlike kind of, camping or overlanding that I do with just a truck bed and such, I have a bunch of storage boxes and I know you do that with your Jeep, but in here it's just everything has a place already.
Yeah, everything has a place and everything is easy to get to. So clothes live there, food lives basically underneath the bench where you're sitting. And then even my kitchen utensils are under here. This box is where we have 2 batteries inside of it. There's 2 100 amp hour lithium batteries. This has a 4-wheel camper original overland solar controller.
Cool.
And then I added the Victron DC to DC charger because I upgraded these batteries to lithium.
Oh, cool. Okay.
You need to have a different charging system. So I added that.
Do you know how many watt hours?
For the batteries? Yeah, it's 100 each. So it has 200 in total.
Gotcha.
And then I also have 320 watts of solar on top of this.
Wow.
So that's pretty good.
That's very good. So a little pantry?
Nope. So right here.
Oh.
This is where
it's not a pantry at all.
This is where our cassette toilet's at.
Very good.
This little pillow. This is a $185 option.
It's worth it.
It matches the seats.
Is it magic? It's got bears on it. Bears are very overlandy, so it's just overland tax. It's fine.
This is worth it. $185, definitely worth it.
Well, I think I have sat there and hung out in here when it was cold outside. So I'm very glad you bought that $187 pillow.
$185.
Oh, okay.
I think you sell it for $220 now.
Oh, wow.
Or even worse. So I showed you the bedroom. I showed you the bathroom. Now we're moving on into the kitchen.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and it's really, really convenient. Everything works in a short area. You got a drawer for all your utensils. That's really handy, obviously.
Nice.
This cabinet was where I put usually my dishes. And then I chose the 85-liter fridge from Isotherm for the reason, you can get a 120-liter fridge also.
Okay.
But the reason why I didn't go with the biggest fridge was because the biggest fridge, it goes all the way down to the very bottom of the floor. And then you lose this drawer here. And this drawer...
And that's where the pots and pans go.
Yeah, this is where pots and pans go. And if I didn't have that this drawer, then it's like I'm shoving it in these compartments. So.
I get you. And we've got a sink and a stovetop?
Yep, these are the flat top sink and stove. This way you can use it as a full counter. If you want to do some food prep and you need some more space, you can fold this down, work on top of it, fold it up. Same thing with your 2-burner stove here. This is one of those things I added after the fact. So we actually riveted this little paper towel holder onto the side.
Cool.
I'll have like a list of what I bought also for.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, we'll add it to this description.
Yeah. So I wanted a soap dispenser in a good spot, and I didn't want to keep on putting in and out. So we ended up finding the soap dispenser, and then Danny found on Amazon this. It's actually a coffee mug holder.
Okay. That
you can stick to your desk, I guess.
Gotcha.
Well, it would work perfectly to use this with this soap bottle. And then actually we just stuck it to the counter so it never moves.
Nice.
So it's always there. And it works really well.
Cool. Very cool. And so we turned it off because it was causing us some glitchiness with the camera, but you got LEDs?
Yep. 4 LED lights. They're also dimmable.
One quick question. Do you get a lot of wind noise in here? Because it's kind of like a half hard shell camper, half soft shell?
Not so much the wind noise. If it's windy outside and you hear it through the trees, of course you're gonna hear it inside. With the fabric, it's not much insulation.
Sure.
But strange enough, this doesn't have a whole lot of flapping noise to it.
Gotcha.
So it's not like it's, flapping throughout the night if it's windy.
But would you say it's still a 4-season capable setup?
Yeah.
You're just running a heater more?
Yeah, the heater's gonna run more. You're probably not gonna get that week's worth of use out of your propane.
Sure.
You'd probably be closer to 4 days maybe.
Mhm.
But you know, we've taken this out when it's frozen or snowing outside. It's you hear the heater come on more often,
Sure.
but it's pretty comfortable in here.
Yeah, and when you're camping outside while Nate's in here and you hear his heater kick on, you get mad at him.
Oh yeah. It's it comes out right here.
Oh, good.
And then heat rises. So it gets really hot down here. And then sometimes Margaret sleeps right there. So she's really warm. But a lot of times I'll make this into a bench for her to be able to sleep. But
Nice.
a lot of times she'll just like to sleep in front of the heater because she's a weirdo. So now I just showed you my kitchen. Now I move on to the dining room.
Nice.
This has a nice little swivel table to it.
Mm-hmm.
You can convert this table into a whole couch if you like. Or you can set it up as a dinette like this. This is where it usually is until it's time to go to bed. And then we make this into a couch. So Margaret has a place to jump up here and sleep.
So I know this has been your remote work setup several times, right? And now that you have a Starlink, you could kind of just work from wherever you want.
Yeah, that was the other great thing about this is it's your home office if you want it to be, where I plugged in my Starlink and kicked it out the side, and then I used a power inverter to run it. But now there's 12-volt Starlink options out there, which makes it way easier.
Yeah. It's probably more efficient now, right, as well?
Way more efficient, too.
Yeah, cool. Now, there's some other features to this area, too. Can't this become a shower?
It does. It comes into a shower. Underneath this rug here, it has a grate and a floor pan for a shower area.
Cool. Okay.
I'll show that underneath.
Nice.
That's the drain. You plug it and unplug it.
Oh,
so this way it collects.
Oh, easy. Cool.
So how this works is there's a shower curtain that connects all the way around on these little hooks.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
You see that?
Mm-hmm.
And then it comes down into the shower pan, and then you've actually set the grates inside of it. So this way the water gets funneled down into the pan itself.
Nice.
And then there's an exit on the outside of the truck.
Gotcha.
So it drains out the side.
And I saw down in the corner there, you got a bunch of 12-volt wiring and switches and outlets and all that good stuff.
Yep, this is the charging area with this Blue Sea charger.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's on now.
Nice.
You got those USB, and then you got a regular 12-volt cigarette lighter.
No, it was funny. As I was walking in, I actually just bought that exact same outlet because I'm going to put it in the bed of my Tacoma because it has like an inverter back there, but it's not a very useful inverter. And actually, my power stations don't like that it's not a pure sine inverter.
I've heard that.
So yeah, so I'm going to add that exact thing.
But the big thing is like this 12-volt power station. It's great because all your batteries are 12 volts, and that charging station is 12 volt. You get a lot of power loss when you go from 12 volt up to 120, like your inverter, and then bringing it back down. A lot of times your electronics actually run on 12 to 16 volts.
Yep. One thing I'm curious about is how much water you can carry in the camper and where it's all stored.
So this has 20 gallons of fresh water and also additional 4-gallon water heater. So you have combined 24 gallons. And that water is located actually center of the truck here. Actually, your feet are on top of where the water tank is right now.
Nice. On your expensive pillow.
Yeah, my $180 pillow that cost me $220 now. The reason why they put that water tank in the center like that is to keep your weight low and in the center of the vehicle as possible. So this way there's not any bias to one side.
Nate did a detailed cost breakdown of this entire setup. The truck, all the mods, the flatbed, and the camper. But my camera had us out of focus, and this video is already pretty long. If you want another video breaking down how much all this costs and Nate's future plans for the truck, tell us in the comments. And guys, seriously, follow Nate on Instagram. He's an awesome guy putting out great short videos, and I want to see his following doubled and then some. Link to his profile is in the description.
For a certain type of travel, I don't think it can get much better. I don't know. It's pretty
tough.
cool. It's really cool.
It's got a good sized package. It can go quite far.
Yeah.
It's not living in back of a Tacoma or back of a Jeep.
Yeah, we wouldn't want that.
No, but I still do. That's why I still have a Jeep. You know, you have your Tacoma. This is just something good that if I want to go out on the road for 10, 14 days, it's not even a problem at all.
Just comfortable. Yeah.
Well,
congrats, Nate. Thanks for showing us. And everybody, check out Nate on Instagram. Thanks for watching, everybody. God bless. Don't forget to do it yourself.